So welcome back, curry fans, to the channel, and have we got a very, very tasty recipe for you today. One that's been much requested, and it actually features in my first book, The Secret to That Takeaway Curry Taste. Today's recipe though is going to utilize my Indian base recipe. Now, if you've not seen my new Indian base recipe, you're going to want to check out this video first before you make this curry. What I want you to do is I want you to go on that video and I want you to read all the comments underneath as to the results people are getting utilizing this base, because what this base enables you to do is create curries that taste like they're authentic Indian curries. And when I say authentic Indian, I'm not talking Bangladeshi or Pakistani. I'm talking like the Indian restaurants. If you haven't made it, check out that video. So we're making our recipe is butter chicken, also known as Murg Makhni. Butter chicken is a delicious curry recipe. It's creamy, it's rich, it's a bit sweet, not overly sweet. It's not tikka masala, it's not chicken korma. A real authentic butter chicken is something else, and you're going to really enjoy this recipe. I'm going to post a card on the video rather than go through them all one by one, and this is what you're going to need to cook this butter chicken. Here it is. So first thing we want to do is just get our heat on. Some of the more keen-eyed of you have noticed I'm using a different burner. The burner that I had before was excellent in terms of its heat output, and I got great results with it, but the base of it was just a little bit too wide, so that when you're cooking with a typical sort of curry pan on it, it wouldn't sit quite right. And so we're going with this one here that you can see here. This is even more powerful. It's I think 9.5 kilowatts. It's you have to actually, a bit like a Ferrari this. You have to be really careful because you can burn your curry if you're not careful. So the first thing that we're going to do is get a little bit of vegetable oil. This is just a little bit of rapeseed oil into our pan. And then we're also going to add in our 2 heaped tablespoons of butter ghee, and just let that melt in the pan. And you'll see that we're cooking with a plastic spoon here. Yes, in an Indian restaurant they will use a stainless steel spoon with an aluminium pan, because they employ this sort of like scraping method to scrape off the thinner Bengali style base. But we don't need to do that. And I do recognize that some people who watch these videos are very sensitive to sounds, so if you've got a clattering metal spoon with a metal pan, it's not great. So we're using a plastic one today. And the great thing as well about this base, the Indian base, you don't need to cook with really high temperatures so that the curry gets ahead of you and then you end up burning it, or it all goes wrong. You can cook at a much more leisurely pace, which suits most people. We're going to go in with our whole spices, which is cassia bark. You can use stick cinnamon as well. We've got 1 piece of that in there, 1 tejpata, which is 1 Asian bay leaf, and then our 3 petals of star anise. These spices are your more aromatic spices that lend themselves to sweeter curries. I want to give it about 45 seconds when you're frying whole spices, just to make sure that you're getting the flavors out of them, and they're not just there for decoration. We're going to count them in, we're going to count them out as well. Okay, that's long enough. We're going to go in with our teaspoon of methi leaves. 30 seconds, that's all we need for them methi leaves, and we can go in with our garlic. And this is just roughly chopped garlic, just 3 cloves. It's not a very garlicky dish, but we do want a little bit of garlic in there. And you just cut your garlic till it goes nice light brown, as you can see there in the pan. And now we can go in with our 4 tablespoons of tomato paste. This is my own recipe tomato paste, not tomato puree. Very easy to make. If you've not seen how I make this, which I utilize in the Madras, Indian style Madras, you need to check out this video here. If you watch this video here, you'll see how I make this tomato paste. It's very easy. Now, because this tomato paste is cooked, we don't need to cook it out. It's not acidic or anything like that. It's already cooked. So we're now going to go in with our spices with 2 teaspoons, just level teaspoons of turmeric powder. Just turn that in. We're going to go in with 1 heaped teaspoon of Kashmiri red chili powder, and it's really important, guys, that you use the Kashmiri chili powder, not extra hot, not standard chili powder, because one, you won't get the butter chicken color, which should be orangey, because the turmeric and the Kashmiri will give you that orange color. And also if you use a hot chili powder, it will be a spicy dish, and it isn't really a spicy dish. Kashmiri chili powder isn't particularly hot. It's more flavorful than hot. So we just want to cook those spices out. And now we're going to go in with 2 teaspoons of freshly ground coriander. And if there's one thing that I would really encourage you all to do, and that is to grind your coriander and cumin fresh. I mean, once you've ground it, it'll last a couple of weeks. You keep it in a spice stabber with a lid on it, it won't lose all the oils, it won't evaporate, and you won't lose its flavor. But if you regularly grind those 2 spices, honestly, the difference in your curries, it's night and day. So I do encourage you to do that. It's an inexpensive investment. A spice grinder like the one I'm using here, I think it was about £15 off Amazon. I'll post a link below. Now we're going to go in with 1 teaspoon of cumin powder. It's already starting to smell amazing, it really is. So what we're going to do is just add a little bit of water here, just to slow things down a little bit now our spices have cooked, but also just to sort of keep our paste sort of fluid really in the pan. That's what I'm saying. Don't let this get ahead of you. Don't feel like, oh, we've got to cook with super high heat, we've got to get this done in. So just take your time. You'll get an amazing dish this way. We're now going to add our chicken, and this is our pre-cooked marinated chicken. Again, if you want to know how I do this, this is the oven method that I use, which if you can see here, guys, I don't know if you noticed that, when you cook it in the oven and you steam it with the foil, and this is thigh, by the way, so when you steam this thigh with the foil, you'll notice you get this jelly out of this chicken. And honestly, it's these juices that really add to this dish. So this is, it's about 600 grams of chicken. As I said, this recipe will serve either 2 very hungry people or 3, I think. So we can turn the heat back up a little bit now, as we want to heat up this chicken. I know I'm going to get some comments from some of you saying, oh no, you shouldn't be cooking with an aluminium pan. I did make a video about that in my Q&A video. Listen, if you don't want to cook with an aluminium pan, guess what? Don't cook with one. Cook with an enamel karahi, cook with a stainless steel pan, cook with a non-stick pan if you want. I'm using this pan because I like using this pan. It's as simple as that. But if you don't want to cook with aluminium, don't cook with aluminium. Nobody has to do anything. So our tomato, our spices, ghee, all of that is now marrying nicely with our chicken in the pan. So we can now go in with our base, Indian base gravy. Now, in terms of this base gravy, the general rule is, as you can see, it's very thick, and this is probably slightly less than 30 grams. It's probably like 20 grams. So I would put 2 very heaped 20 grams or 1 regular 30 gram chef spoon amount. So like 1 per person. So we're going to put in 2, maybe just a little bit more in there of our Indian base. And that's it. And in terms of controlling the sauce, how much sauce you want in this curry, because it's not too thick, it's not like a boona, but then again, it's not very runny either, then we're going to use our hot water to just get the level that we want. That's the beauty of this base. So as you can see, this is looking already really nice in the pan. Just take a look at that. So now we're going to add in our one chili. The seeds are removed, so we're not going for heat. We're just really going for the flavour. It's not a completely spiceless dish, 𝒔𝒻𝒂𝒛𝒐𝒏 or butter chicken. So one green chili, seeds removed. If you don't want that, you don't have to put it in. If you are cooking with an aluminium pan or even a steel pan, always make sure that you scrape off the residue as it builds up on the side of the pan, because that's where all your flavours are. Okay, so we're going to put in, at this stage, our salt. We're going to put in our honey. Now, if you haven't got honey, you can just use brown sugar and it'll be fine. But it adds a sort of a certain characteristic, I find, when you use honey in this dish. It tastes really, it's a really nice sweetness that you get from the honey. Now it's looking a little bit thick, so we're going to water this down a bit now. The thing about adding water to your curry, especially with this Indian base, is not to add too much. So you can add a little, see where you're at, blend it a little bit more, and then you'll get the, if you put too much hot water in too soon, you can end up with a soup. And also you'll sort of interrupt the cooking process. So just a little bit water every now and again, and you'll get to where you want it to be. That's looking really lovely. So now we're going to put in our butter. And this is an unsalted butter, because obviously we're controlling the salt ourselves, so we don't want to put a salted butter in there, just use an unsalted one. Some people say, well, could you not just use the ghee rather than add the butter? The butter adds a creaminess to this dish, which you might not quite get with just ghee, so use butter. Now, if you're on a diet, you're not going to want to eat this curry too often, to be honest with you, because it is a rich curry. It's a decadent curry. It's a treat. It's something that you have every now and again. But if you want to impress some guests and you want to cook for some friends that are coming around, this is definitely going to impress them, this butter chicken. So it's looking like our butter has more or less melted there, which is great. So we're now going to go in with our cream. And as you can see, as we turn this cream in, now with the cream, make sure the pan isn't too hot, because you don't want it to split in the pan. So just make sure when you add the cream that you're on a low light, and just stir that in. And immediately you start to see that it's starting to look like butter chicken. It's got that nice sort of orangey colour, and we've not used any food colouring in it. I'm not keen on food colouring myself. I know it doesn't really do too much harm, and we have food colouring in lots of things, but I try and avoid it if I can. Now at this stage we're going to fish out our whole spices. So we've got our 𝒀𝒏, and we've got our 𝗕𝗢𝗢𝒄𝒏. Now we are going to try and see if we can find those petals of star anise, because you don't really want to be biting down on one of them. There's one, there's two, and there's number 3. That's the last one. Okay. The other thing about butter chicken as well is it's known for its very velvety, smooth sauce. So you're not looking for texture in this curry. You're not looking for bits. That's why we've not used tomatoes. We've used the tomato paste in that. You're looking for a really velvety, silky, smooth sauce. Okay, so we're going to finish this off now with some coriander. The green against the orange just looks so great. And our chaat masala, which is our secret weapon here today. Because if you want to try and recreate those sort of Indian flavors, you want to be using chaat masala with certain dishes like this one. It really works well because it's more aromatic. So we're going to put in our chaat masala to a simmer. A little bit more water, just a little bit. That's it. And we're going to get the consistency that we want, because this is a lovely gravy, it really is. Now if you look here guys, you can see we're starting to have the oil split from the sauce, which tells you that the curry is done. So we'll serve this up. We'll just serve up one portion and we'll do the taste test and I'll tell you what it tastes like. And to finish this off, we're going to add a little bit more coriander, just a bit, and we're going to drizzle over some more double cream, just a little bit, just to make it look pretty. Now take a look at that. One thing's for sure, my cholesterol level's about to go up. But let's just give this a taste. First of all, let's just try the sauce. Wow, wow. I can taste a little bit of the heat from the chili, which is really nice and actually works with a creamy curry. A lot of people don't associate spice, or heat rather, with a creamy curry. You might remember a recipe on this channel called chicken tikka masala for grown-ups, and that's really a chicken tikka masala with a bit of heat to it. I think it really works and you've got to try it, and that's what real butter chicken is. It's got a little bit of heat to it and this is lovely. Oh, that is just so Moorish. It's got like a sort of a velvety, silky texture on the tongue. You can taste the richness from the tomatoes, our tomato paste that we cook, our homemade tomato paste. You can taste the complexity of the spices. That chaat masala, those really aromatic and zingy spices, just you can feel them dancing a little bit on your tongue there, which is really nice. I'm just going to try now the a piece of this chicken. Just take a look at that. No food colouring needed. If you use the Kashmiri chili powder, like I told you, plus really nice, good quality turmeric powder, you will get natural orange. You don't need to add food colouring because it just looks so good with those natural spices. The cream as well just takes the redness out of it and lends it to a more orange colour. So go and make that and tell me what you think. I love to read your comments. The comments that I've been getting from some of these new recipes, particularly with the Indian base, have just been so fantastic. People are like, wow, this is like the best madras I've ever made, or this is the best base I've ever tried. So make it and tell me what you think about it. My guess is you're gonna absolutely love it. So if you've just started following me on this channel, please hit the notification button so that you're alerted as I make new recipes. I try to post at least one a week. I've also been uploading some of my archive videos so you can get to see some videos blast from the past. If you're brand new to this video and you've never seen this channel or seen me before, then please hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. And guess what? You're gonna learn a lot when it comes to cooking authentic Indian, Bengali, Pakistani, in fact the whole wonderful world of curry on this channel. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. As always, happy currying.